anatomical, biomechanical, and practical exercise education. Today's lesson: hip joint flexion. Introduction. Hip joint flexion is a joint action involving the forward movement of the femur at the hip joint. It plays a critical role in many activities, including walking, running, and lifting the legs. Hip flexion is featured in exercises like leg raises, sit-ups, and high knees. In this lesson, we'll focus on the standing cable leg flexion, a controlled, resistance-based way to isolate and strengthen the hip flexors. Body contour benefits. Strengthening the hip flexors improves lower abdominal tone and enhances the definition of the upper thighs. This contributes to balanced hip structure and helps prevent lower body muscular imbalances that affect posture and gait. The movement. Hip flexion involves moving the femur forward and upward at the hip joint, decreasing the angle between the thigh and torso. This action is essential for walking, stair climbing, running, and any motion requiring leg lifting. Strong hip flexors also improve balance, agility, and movement efficiency. Exercise execution. Stand facing away from a low cable pulley with an ankle strap attached to one leg. Hold a stable object or support bar for balance. Engage the core and keep both hips square. Flex the working leg forward at the hip while keeping the knee straight or slightly bent. Lift the leg until the thigh reaches approximately hip height, using the hip flexors to initiate and control the movement. Pause briefly at the top, then slowly lower the leg back to the starting position under control without allowing it to swing. Proper technique. Maintain an upright posture throughout the movement and avoid using momentum to lift the leg. The lift should be slow, controlled, and driven by the hip flexors. Lift the leg until the thigh reaches approximately hip height without tilting the pelvis or rounding the lower back. Avoid excessive height that forces compensation from other muscles or the spine. The most common mistake is swinging the leg forward using momentum, which reduces muscle engagement and increases the risk of lower back strain. Muscle mechanics. The movement begins with concentric contraction of the hip flexors to bring the leg forward. At the top position, a brief isometric hold enhances muscle activation and stability. The return phase involves eccentric contraction of the hip flexors to lower the leg in a controlled manner against resistance. Primary movers. The primary mover in this exercise is the iliopsoas, composed of the psoas major and iliacus muscles. These deep hip flexors work together to lift the leg forward during the movement. Other muscle roles. Antagonists. The gluteus maximus resists the forward movement of the leg, controlling hip extension. Synergists. The rectus femoris and sartorius assist the iliopsoas in hip flexion. Stabilizers. The abdominal muscles, gluteus medius, and standing legs quadriceps stabilize the pelvis and maintain balance during the movement. Biomechanical considerations. Pelvic stability. Keeping the pelvis neutral ensures the hip flexors remain the primary drivers and prevents unwanted lumbar spine involvement. Cable height. Setting the cable pulley low aligns resistance with the line of pull for optimal loading. Core engagement. Activating the abdominal muscles stabilizes the spine and reduces compensatory motion during the lift. Training effectiveness and optimization. Controlled tempo. Lifting and lowering the leg slowly maximizes muscle engagement and time under tension. Unilateral focus. Working one leg at a time enhances muscle balance and coordination. Progressive resistance. Gradually increasing cable weight challenges the hip flexors without sacrificing form. Safety and injury prevention. Avoid overextension. Do not swing the leg excessively forward, as it may strain the hip joint or lower back. Support for balance. Hold a stable object to prevent falls or loss of alignment. Proper warm-up, light dynamic stretches and mobility work for the hips prepare the muscles and joints for safe movement. Variations and alternatives. Hanging knee raise. This vertical chain hip flexion exercise challenges the hip flexors and abdominals by lifting the knees toward the torso while hanging from a bar, increasing core stability demands. Lying leg raise. Performed lying on a bench or the floor, this exercise emphasizes lower abdominal and hip flexor engagement with minimal spinal loading. Seated V-up. This combines hip flexion with trunk flexion in a seated position, offering a dynamic core challenge and improved coordination between upper and lower body movements. Hip flexion is fundamental for daily activities and athletic performance. The standing cable leg flexion offers a targeted way to strengthen the hip flexors, improve stability, and enhance lower body function.